You ever have one of those days when you just think, what am I doing? How is this ever going to finish? Because you and me here in Yorkshire, as writers, I think sometimes we think, oh yeah, this is going to be an easy project, a straightforward process, not just to write the book, but to actually get the damn thing published. And I'm having one of those days. It's now early evening and I have been at my desk behind me for about 6 hours. I started just after lunch today, and I thought I'll spend a couple of hours formatting the manuscript ready for an ebook and also for a print version to stick on Amazon KDP. But I'm not finished, and I'm happy with the progress I've made, but damn it, it's frustrating. I've been working on something which originally I formatted and drafted last year in Mexico during the summer on this, my Alpha Smart Neo. And it was a great process and it was a fairly quick write. What I was doing then was bringing together lots of the ideas. Where's that book? Here it is. Bringing together lots of the ideas that I had captured in a series of notebooks like this one, and being able to bring together into something which I thought, yeah, this could be a good book. It ties in with some of my other work. I'm just going to put this down. It ties in particularly with things like the simple self-help book and possibly aspects of the book I've written called 10-Minute Budget. This new book is about meaningful work, and it will fit alongside some of those other titles. 2 years ago, I sat down and had a series of conversations, some in person, others by video or telephone interview, with friends of mine who I've known for years, all of whom, like me, are creative people. We're crafters, we're makers, we're sculptors, painters. I spoke to one guy who's a drystone waller, another lady who's a painter and art tutor. And over the course of about 20 interviews, I whittled it down to various motivations, the acquisition of skill, putting our art and our thoughts about that art into practice to create something that was and is valuable to us. And over the last 2 years, since I had that series of conversations, that's where I've pulled together the notes in the book and also added the stuff that I put onto my Alpha Smart Neo. And last month I said to myself, before I go to Mexico, I have to, because I'm going back in a few weeks' time, before I make my return trip, I've got to get this next book published, because it was something I promised myself just after Christmas. So we're nearly there. The ebook is very much ready, but where I found the challenge and the biggest complication today, because I'm not very good at formatting, it takes me a long time. Today is a real example of that. The formatting has really basically, I'm tired. I'm not crying, but I wish I was sometimes, or I felt like it today at least. No, with the formatting for the print version of the book, I've really struggled with getting the page set up correctly. The fonts, that's easy. The header one for the chapter titles, that's all been straightforward, and I've gone through that a couple of times. I misfiled one of the documents and I had to redo it. But I've got the two pieces done, the ebook and the print version. I'm just going to do a bit more work on the print version tomorrow, and I'm really hoping that I can publish meaningful work later this week. I'll put something on the community posts in a while, not today, but in a few days' time, to say it's ready and will go for pre-orders. But I think it's the book that I've really been called to write because of all the work I've done with small enterprises and particularly creative and craft businesses over the years, working as a support worker or an advisor with some of the rural enterprise agencies across Britain. But I think this is a goodie and I'm really looking forward to it. I have still got some work to do. My next task tomorrow morning after breakfast will be to go to a coffee shop. I'm going to take my MacBook with me, which is on the desk over here, and I'm going to use ChatGPT for the first time to write a book blurb, the jacket language that goes on the back, which will also be very similar to the language that I use on the nicksturgeonbooks.com website, but mainly to create the jacket blurb that will go on Amazon and in some of the other promotions I'm starting to do, to say, this is the book, this is how it works, and this is what you will find if you are reading the book. I've had about 3 cups of coffee today, but now I'm on herbal tea, because if I have another coffee, I'll not be able to sit down and watch a film to relax later. But yeah, meaningful work. It should be out very soon. It has been a struggle. And in the past, I've used Fiverr on a couple of times to reach out to other people and to help me with some artwork and also to proofread some of the things I've written. This is going back several years. And that's been useful, but I wanted to format this book myself so that I can actually say, yes, I have formatted it manually. But I think, having gone to the Indie Author Conference last summer in London and really enjoyed that, I looked quite closely at some of the formatting software. And I genuinely, after today's, let's call it an experience, after today's experience, I don't really want to go through that again. What I'd like to do is start writing the next book, and I know exactly which one it is, inside something like Atticus, where I can use the software to bring my draft ideas into chapter structures, and then I can work on what goes into each of those chapters, so that when I come to do the formatting ready for uploading the book to one of the platforms, and I might go for not just Amazon, but I might also go for books.by, because that's quite an interesting domain name, and I think that as authors, the more control we can have over some of our books, the better. So whilst I'm still going to be putting some items on Amazon, the others I am going to move on to some other platforms, because some of the work that I do on places like Skillshare, I get paid directly by them through video courses and products that I've uploaded there, and that's a separate payment from the Amazon or the YouTube or the Medium article writing income. So having several pillars of income makes things more stable. A bit like a 4-legged table is more stable and secure than perhaps a 3-seat or a 3-leg stool. It's that stability that I am increasingly enjoying and continuing to reinvest in, so that the more I can do that is generating income, the better. But damn it, formatting, I think, is something that I don't want to get involved in such a small process again. Sorry, I'm tired and I'm conscious that I'm rambling a little bit, but I wanted to get this video out for us so that we could see what people's responses are and to understand what your experience is of having self-formatted some of your books, or whether you've gone out to other agencies or third parties like the folks that you can find on Fiverr.com, and just share that with me. Have you found it as frustrating as I have? And is that one of the things that caused you to say, no, I'm never going to do this again. I'm up to here with the whole idea of formatting. Certainly for me, it's been a struggle today, and it's been the thick end of 6 hours sitting and looking at my MacBook screen. And that's one of the reasons that tomorrow I want to have maybe an hour on formatting, and I'm going to go to a public space, a coffee shop, where I just give myself 1 hour with ChatGPT, and I should then have the jacket blurb. The artwork for the book, by the way, Helen has done it for me again, Helen Poole, and I'm absolutely over the moon with the artwork. I'll put up a couple of slides of it here in the video when I edit it later tonight for launch over the weekend. But the artwork is super. She's done all my recent covers on things like the Simple Self-Help, 10-Minute Budget, Climbing Out of Debt, and Declutter Your Home. So this will be the 5th cover that she's done for me, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm delighted with it. Listen, I need a break, and so do you. I've been rambling for long enough. But have a great weekend. I hope that whatever you're doing with your writing activity, you can make progress. You can do those little jobs that when you add them all up, they take you in a decent direction and allows you to say, okay, I've made good progress on my manuscript today. I've pushed some projects forward, and I'm on track with my activities to be either a part-time or full-time author and creator, because that's what is important to you and I. And this book, Meaningful Work, I think really does not so much fill a gap in the market for books about developing and growing your career as a creative individual, but it allows you to bring together lots of ideas and thoughts that you've currently had and take them to a slightly higher space, or push them into a more lucrative place within your subsection of the industry that you're working in, so that you're niching into something that's really important. That's it. Time is up. No more conversation from me or looking at my watch anymore. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.